Jumping right into it, we got the Cat 304 mini excavator. I got my small 1-foot bucket on there, and then my 3-foot smooth face ditching bucket. This is that job we put that culvert, and then the homeowner did this nice driveway with it. This is a fresh water meter, and we are going to be tying in from this water meter, crossing this underground electric primary that's right here, cutting across the driveway best we can, digging parallel to the septic tank that is right there, run right along the grass, and tie in over here to where his water currently comes in. Ta-da. We are also extending this downspout, which currently runs out and just disappears somewhere in the driveway. We're gonna try to kind of share the same trench to save some digging and run that downspout out to that ditch as well. And from where that ties in, we're gonna loop back around and run into his yard hydrant to get a new line to that. The real short backstory is the water meter comes from that building. This building is now a separate owner. That's a separate owner, so he wants his own water meter. Makes sense, but the water line comes in, runs through the frost hydrant, and then over to that well we were just looking at. So there's no way to shut that frost hydrant off or anything like that. So we're gonna run the main into that well, which supplies this building, and then come back out of it and run back around to that frost hydrant. These orange ones are spicy, man. Oh God. You know, better than coffee. That'll wake you up quick. Went ahead and packed an extra stick with me just in case I needed it. So I think that's good. We're just gonna be taking little scoops because we're just kind of going nice and slow through this. There were a few old buildings that stood here back in the day. In fact, I believe I did the demolition of one of them. So there could be some hidden stuff in here. We're just taking our time. Better safe than sorry type of situation. We're gonna widen it out because we're gonna be down there making a connection. Give us a spot to work. We'll just have my day laborer here just dig down next to it, you know. It's me, and that's fine. So here's where the water department has it stubbed out. They got this end taped up for us, which is nice. So we'll just follow that the rest of the way out. That should allow our pecs to go right into there. People always ask how deep is the frost line where we're at. About that deep. There's an old phone line. I hope it's an old phone line. It's sharing the trench. There's the tape for the electric trench, so that's good. We're right where our marks are at, so that's encouraging. The phone company marked, but they marked, see the orange dots? That's the fiber line. High-speed fiber optic runs with the road. The phone company didn't mark anything up here. They just marked the power line. It's an old copper line. It's not fiber or anything like that, so. Yeah, we'll bend it up. I mean, if anybody shows up, we're gonna know why. You know? Oh, phone line? Never heard of her. So there's the other end of that one, copper line. And then here's another line, phone line, that just showed up. So I'm not 100% sure. It's gotta be all abandoned. I'm just gonna give them a call real quick and see what they got going on. They don't have anything marked up here, but let's give them a call. If they want to come look at it, they can. Or if they want to say, nope, there's nothing there over the phone, we'll make sure we record that so we can keep on digging. Yeah, we called Locates in a couple weeks ago for a culvert install we did, and then the water company called Locates in. They just set a meter. And you guys located the fiber. This is running with a buried electric line that is located and marked, but there's no PSCI marks on this. It's a copper line. I just want to make sure that it's an abandoned line and it's not something that's still in use.
Okay. And do you know your locate ticket numbers?
I don't. No, I sure don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, give me just a moment. Let me look for them. So, okay, I see the house. I've just pulled that up. It looks like it's a pole barn type residence.
Yes, yeah.
The intro water. And have you cut this line that you say it's in with the electric?
There's two of them in there. One is cut, one is not. So they're going to send a tech over at some point today. They're already working on other stuff, so for them to pull off and come look at this is kind of a hassle for them as well. So what we're going to do is just treat it like it is live, like it is still feeding something, even though we think it's probably not. And the electric line should be in here anyway. The good news is she did check the surrounding houses and this property, and they all still have service, so we didn't affect anything there. That is fiber. You gotta be kidding me. That one is fiber. I bet they don't have service now. So internet company just left. They were awesome. They got everything fixed up and repaired. And they marked the lines. This is wild because this is the second time it's been marked up here. You can see the red dots. Now there's an orange one. That's the power line. There's a fiber there and a fiber there. Both running this way, there and there. This one up here did end up being a fiber, but I didn't hit that one. I hit the copper one above it, and they were using the copper as the tracer. So they just repaired the tracer, and that fiber is fine. And then they repaired both of those. The junction boxes are sitting back in that, so we're just got to be real gentle. This will just have to be mounded up dirt when we backfill, and it's just going to have to settle on its own because those splices can be somewhat contrary. But then there's a fiber that goes there, and then there's a fiber that runs up and over that way. Is what it is, you know. You just keep going. I don't know what else to tell you. That stuff happens. Be professional about it, because sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's my fault. And if we're professional every time, then it's not that big of a deal. This is where we get a little tricky. I've got that stone pulled back, but right here, there's a septic tank. You can kind of see where the grass doesn't grow really well. We're running this line right along this grass edge, but I can't reach here from there. I can only reach, to about this post. So we gotta kind of sit right there, reach in and try to dig to that well, at least that much. And then we'll have to go around, tie it in, and bring it down. Height is gonna be a real issue that we're gonna have to really, really watch on this. I kind of want to come towards this post just a little bit. Now I put some field tile in behind this barn, and for the life of me, I can't remember where I stopped at, but I'm pretty sure I did not come past the air conditioner. I did it. I made a video on it. I felt like I could just go back and watch it, honestly. But here we are, you know? Here we are. I just can't emphasize this enough, the whole be professional about it thing. If you're in excavation or you plan on being in it for a while, or you've done it for a while, you've either hit a utility or you're gonna hit a utility. There's just no way around it. It's just part of it. Just keep in mind, I don't want to lose the time while I'm waiting for a repair, but they also don't want to be making the repair. They've got things that they're supposed to be doing today, not fixing this thing. And 9 times out of 10, the guys doing the repair are not the ones that marked or missed the mark anyway. Normally that's someone different. So I need to scoot back, come over, try not to mess up his turf as much as I can, and at least get this dug to right here, and then I can reach that from that end. Look at that. Oh, I love it. When a plan comes together, we can reach from there just fine, and we're still got the machine on the stone, not on the tank, which is crucial. Try to scoot some more of this rock back. So we are under both fibers over the, what's that thing? Oh, electricity, over the electricity. I'm gonna see if I can at least get the pipe in the ground tonight. I walked off about 90 feet the other day. So here will be the real question. Was it right? Is a 100-foot roll gonna do it? Gonna be pretty close here. All right. Even a few feet to spare. Okay. Let's see if we can start getting her work down in. I'm gonna take this end this way. We gotta get her shoved under the machine and under the fiber, obviously. Okay. So under the driving section of his driveway, that makes sense. He wants some conduit just to give a little extra protection to the pipe. So hopefully we can slide this over top of it. I got some old flags from previous jobs. They're kind of handy to save. I'm gonna put them all right here. That's where their junction boxes ended up going for the splices. Just a reminder for me where that's at while we're backfilling, so I don't drive directly over them. So that's where the end of the conduit's at there on this side. And this is where the conduit ends on this side. So that should give plenty of protection. So it's a new afternoon. We're about 4 hours into this thing so far, which I don't think is too terrible for what we're dealing with. But I talked to him the other night, and I said, I do have a concern that we didn't initially address. We think this is 3/4 PEX coming in, which that's certainly what it looks like. That should be the water supply. That goes somewhere. I have a suspicion of where I think it might go. I believe this is what powers the barn, and I want you to take a good look at that. We'll gander down yander on that bad boy, huh? She doesn't look good. She's got all kinds of rust jacking on it, and she looks like she's ready to fail. Also, hose clamps. That's wild. I said, do you want me to do anything about that or just leave her fly for now? And he said, if it looks bad, let's try to fix it. So we're gonna have to this material out of here and get this out of the way so we can get back far enough on whatever that line is right there to get the proper repair. Because we're running another line back this trench over that frost hydrant, and I'm just gonna hand dig around that and throw it down the hole. We're gonna go ahead and get that PEX in this piece of the trench. Get down. I think I can just pull this out now and then we can dig behind it a little easier. As long as the whole house doesn't collapse here. Okay, there we go. We're gonna have to kind of shift the whole access that way. This is also 3/4 PEX. Oh, that's an animal. Okay. We're gonna wanna wash our hands, that's for sure. Send a quick text to the homeowner. Hey, I'm just double checking that you did shut the water off this morning before you left. I just talked to him on the phone. He said he did in fact turn the water off, so that's good. People comment that these things, these handles, they rust and they break. They absolutely do. They are replaceable. There's a nut that comes off here. So if you ever look down your pit and your handle's rusted out, you can just undo that nut, get you a new handle and put it on there and keep your stuff in good working condition. If you break it off and you can't twist that, you can take that nut off and just do what I did, use a pair of pliers. There's a lot of options. I mean, if you're dealing with water, there's always going to be the possibility of rust. There's going to be some residual in that for sure. We're going to put a valve on here, and what we're going to do is in the closed position. Oh, what did they use? Hold on. So we got a bit of a situation. I have learned why they hose clamped this on to that iron pipe. So a little backstory. The person that used to own this property decades ago, that's probably accurate, he used to work commercial maintenance, I believe. Anyway, he drug a lot of stuff home. And it looks like the thing he drug home to plumb his barn with was pure flow pipe. Pure flow pipe is a proprietary pipe. Nothing about it is compatible with PEX pipe, which with PEX pipe, there's lots of different brands that make the fittings or the crimp rings or the pipes themselves. It's all interchangeable. It's nice to stick with one brand, so if there is a little bit of a difference, it's, you know, all kind of similar, but it should be interchangeable. Proprietary pipe is not. It's proprietary for a reason. They want you to use their stuff, which means a standard crimp ring doesn't fit on it. Cool. I called the local supply stores within 30 minutes. They don't have it. Actually, the supply store I called, Casey Supply, I said, do you have this? He says, I don't think so. I'm not going to beg him to check, you know what I mean? So if he's not enthusiastic about it, we'll call somewhere else. So then I called around about an hour away to the big box stores and I said, you guys have Pure Flow fittings. I like that man's trailer setup. That is a nice trailer. And they said, we don't have them, but we can order them online and get them. Not super helpful for the right now, but something I can keep in the back of my mind for future projects if I run across it. And then I put a call into a plumber that I worked with probably close to 10 years ago, back when I used to do this stuff full time. We will see if he has the proper fittings. Also, here's a fine example of an improperly crimped PEX fitting. Can you see that? See how she's all cattywampus? You don't want that. I don't want proprietary pipe. We're gonna keep working, making connections and doing the job, and hope that at some point today I hear back from that plumber and we can pay him to run out and make the connection to the house. Because without that, I don't think we're gonna have a happy homeowner. We're gonna go ahead and get this line ran over to the frost hydrant and get that connected up. We are gonna end up digging through the existing downspout. That's okay. Remember, we're replacing it and running it out in a new spot because of all the work that's been done here over the years. It's been crushed and buried multiple times anyway. So that's gonna be expected. Don't be surprised if you see a little green pipe pop up. Hopefully that's the only thing we find in this one. At some point we gotta stop digging these holes and start filling them back in. Called frost-proof hydrant, and this is why whenever you shut it, it weeps out of that hole in the bottom. That's why they've got all that stone down there for that to weep into. We're just going to take this out of the bottom and replace it with a 90 and then fasten it back to that T-post in the same spot, except we're going to rotate it. I'll show you why, but let's there we go. Good length on that end. I'll just trim it to get this out of the way. And we'll get her down the hole a little closer. Okay. So the handle was originally back against the back of the wall like that, but now we're going to set it up, rotate it out like that, so it's easier for them to turn it on and off. All right, let's go ahead and do our meter connection next, and then we can make some connections up on the top end to at least get this part all turned on, knowing if everything's decent. See how that looks. Looks pretty good. So this is our water coming from the meter. We're gonna go ahead and cut that. Committed now. And this is the leg that'll run back to that frost hydrant. And I'm just going to put a tail on it with a plug. And that way, we go ahead and turn this meter on. Test all those connections up to here. Make sure our frost hydrant's good. We go ahead and start backfilling that while we wait for a call back from the plumber. Meter on. Let's see what happens here. Well, come on. All right, meter's on. We've got no leaks here. Of course, there's just air in the line right now, but there's no air pushing out. So that's good. We're gonna turn that on, and then we'll hook a hose up over there and run a hose out and flush all the air out and Let's see what happens once we get some water in there. He's got this fancy disconnect thing. Okay. All right. Hear the air hissing? Working air out of the system through the hose. Oh, she's going crazy. Oh. It's fine. Okay. That's probably good enough. Oh. That's what it does at the bottom. That water coming out is coming out of that weep hole. See how the frost hydrant works? It drains itself. Pretty clever idea. All right. While that drains itself, it's gonna be hard to check for a leak there. We'll walk back over here. Fire hydrants are supposed to do the same thing. Everything looks good here. Bone dry. We're good there. Golden. Union's good, that's good. Anyway, this finally stopped weeping, and looks good. I'm gonna get these hose clamps around here so it actually holds it better. And we're gonna go down along through here. Make sure everything looks good at the bottom of this trench. Hand shovel some good dirt on top of this, and we'll do the rest with the machine. This is the dirt I'm putting under and on the pipe. It's just like a clay. Got her covered up. I want to go ahead and get this downspout installed next. And it's going on top of this. So I want to get a little bit of dirt on top of this conduit and on top of this section there. And then the downspout will go on top of the dirt. Science, you guys got it. And since we're going to be in the machine and I just kind of want to sit in the machine and move some material anyway, just take a second to contemplate life and all my decisions and how I ended up here. We're just gonna go ahead and get this section filled up all the way as well. We're just we're doing it. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get this 30-foot section I got put together, dropped in. You can tell I planned out my approach very well. Oh gosh. Okay. Easy peasy. All right, just walk it down. Oh, stop it. There it goes. If you're gonna do a pretty hard bend, put several together, obviously. That makes it a lot easier on you. And let that glue sit for a while so it's got a good amount of time to get everything bonded up. But that looks good. But a fella can get a pretty decent curve with that 4-inch 35 pipe. We shouldn't have any issue with fall on this, but a fella ought to double check before we bury it under 17 feet of ground here. You think 2 inches and 4 feet's enough? I'd say that's probably gonna be all right. I just walked the whole thing, checked several spots just to make sure we didn't have a random belly somewhere, but let's see, right there, ish. That's where we're at down there. About 2 inches and 4 feet. Divisible in 30 feet of pipe. You do the math, bud. I'm not here for your math. You hang out there. And do you want to take a chunk of dirt, jam it down in there, like so. Yes. There we go. That'll hold me off the wall, and then I can run right into that downspout. So we don't have to cross this fiber optic or that electric again. Downspout's going to share the same trench until we get onto the other side of it, and then we'll branch off of it. I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple more sticks on. This is where I got to leave this one. We're pretty close to where we need to be, but it's too late in the day. I can't consider it close enough to get it finished, so I'll have to come back in the morning, which means it'll be the next video. We've got it rigged up for now. So he's got water for tonight. He's gonna turn it off tonight before he goes to bed, and then use it in the morning if he needs to, and he can turn it off when he goes to work until we hear back from the plumber so they can come make that connection. The previous owner had it hose clamped like this for several years, so hopefully it'll make it a couple days for us. We still gotta finish that downspout connection. We gotta come down here and get this downspout to go ahead and finish out, and then get the backfill done. If you saw me kind of going through, hopefully you did, we're taking the bucket and we're breaking these dirt clods up and kind of sorting through for some good material for directly on the pipe. This is what it is on this side of the property. The other side was that clay. This is still kind of clay. It's very loose, very fine material. We just run the bucket over this a few times, smashes it up, and it's perfect. Perfect for covering that pipe with. Then we put the chunky stuff on top, and well, I don't know, I got nothing. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm going home. Yep, just to remind myself how door works, I guess. Anyway, if it's your first video, welcome to reality, and if you've been with us for a while, no one's surprised that this is where we're at today. Huh? We live for this stuff. Funny thing is, whenever I used to do this stuff full time for Mike, or Dirt Perfect back in the day, jobs are always like this. This is just the way it is, especially when you're tying into somebody else's work. Now I used to tell myself that, well, whenever I start doing my own jobs and I find jobs that I want to do, I will find jobs that will go smoother. I'll have the foresight to do that. Well, that didn't happen.